this is a year that it's a little better to be an R than it is to be a D. We know that's true from every bit of survey research that we have looked at, every degree of excitement in the electorate, how many people are kind of really looking forward to the challenge versus those that are not. But it means that you need to have the three basics that are important, and they have all three legs of the stool are important. One, that there is a compelling message, that you are talking about something that is important to the voters, and more importantly, that not only is it important to the voters, but it is compelling enough for them to do something that they might not normally do. The second is that this is a midterm election, so you want to have a sound strategy and tactics for identifying and turning out voters. And whether that's going to come statewide, or whether it's going to come district by district, or whether it's going to happen town by town, you need to find out. You need to say, what are we doing? Because in midterm elections, the mechanics of identifying and turning out voters is critically important. And the third is that you need you need the adequate resources. I mean, you really, as much as the wind might be at our back, you still need to have an adequate number of dollars. The second thing is, don't try to run against a nobody. Define your opponents. Define who they are, what they will do. Because it goes right back to what I said. You want this election to be a choice, not a referendum. And you want it to be a choice about your candidacy versus your opponent's candidacy. And if we're running on a referendum against them, as in send the Democrats a message, or give us a check, or give us some balance in our government back, you have to also be able to say at the same time, here are some things that we're going to do if you give us the power, so that there is a positive, as well as defining the negative of your opponent. The third is, targeting is important. Now, Newt just said target everybody. And of course, I agree with Newt on everything that he said. But I would also say this, target carefully. You want to think through, if you believe that you are going to get a specific voter's vote, or a specific group of voters' vote, that you have the tactics in your campaign to reach that person or those persons, that you don't leave it to chance. Now, behavioral folks will tell you, in the political brain they will say, nobody knows exactly how they make up their minds about how voters make up their minds about who they'll vote for. But this is one thing we do know is true. We do know that there are two things in campaign communications that are critical. One is penetration, and two is impact. So that you have to say things often enough that it reaches into the psyche of the voter. Now, that might be that they have to hear that message 5 times, or 6 times, or 7 times, or hear your name 10 times or 14 times before it registers with them. Remember, unlike us, they don't think about this every day. So we have to help them as they prepare for who they're going to vote for. The second thing is that the message has to be impactful enough that it causes them to do something. So think about those two things, penetration and impact. And if you have targeted a specific voter, you think you're going to do better in this town, or you think you're going to do better with this demographic, or you think you're going to do better with this ideological voter, make sure that you have counted the number of times that you have talked to them, or they have received a communication from you, or had the opportunity to receive a communication from you. And it's always safe to think in terms of 10. So if you have arrived at who it is you think is going to vote for you, think about, has this campaign, has my campaign, touched this voter 10 times? And is it necessary that I do that? And if I'm not doing it, I better be pretty sure about who they're going to vote for through a voter ID process so I actually know. The fourth thing is don't hide from who you are. I mean, the people can see phonies a mile away. So when I say what your values are and who you are and what you think you have to offer, once you decide that that's what you're going to talk about, make sure you're consistent. The last thing I would say is don't believe all your own spin. Things are rarely as good as you think they are, and they're rarely as bad as they could be. So you want to make sure that you are dealing in accuracy. When you can make every excuse for not having met the quota for voters that you were going to talk to that day, or when you talk about, gee, the rain or the cold came too soon and I didn't get to 300 households that I was supposed to get to, that's all right because nobody else could get there because of the weather, and you've rationalized to yourself that that's fine. All I'm saying is you can rationalize all you want to, but don't believe it. Because, in fact, you want to be accurate in being able to figure out exactly what it is that you have done and what it is that you've accomplished. And I would leave you with one closing thought, and that is there is one word in politics and in campaigns that's more important than any other, and that word is attitude. Attitude, your attitude, is the one thing you control 24/7. You decide every day how it is you're going to react. You decide every day how it is you're going to interact. You decide whether you're going to be happy or whether you're going to be mad. You decide whether you're going to yell or whether you're going to praise. You decide whether or not you think you can do something or whether you can't do it. But remember, nobody ever did it if they didn't think they could. Thank you very much.